Welcome back to the Sharing English podcast, where we explore stories from the English-speaking world, spoken slowly and clearly for curious English learners like you. Let's get started. Hey everyone, it's your host, Freya. March is coming to a close, and I didn't want it to go away without discussing something important. In the US, March is Women's History Month. During this month, schools, museums, and media often highlight the achievements and contributions of women throughout history. You might also know that March 8 is International Women's Day, which is widely celebrated around the world. In many countries, it's a major public event with demonstrations, celebrations, and sometimes even a public holiday. In the United States, however, International Women's Day isn't as widely observed. Instead, the country tends to recognize women's contributions across the entire month of March through Women's History Month, which began as a week-long observance in the 1970s and expanded nationally in the 1980s. So today's episode is about one remarkable woman whose life story connects music, storytelling, business, and philanthropy. We're talking about Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton was born in 1946 near Sevierville, in the Appalachian Mountains. She grew up in a very large family, one of 12 children, and her family had very little money. Dolly has often said that while her family didn't have many material things, they had music, stories, and a strong sense of community. Growing up, music was everywhere. Church singing, traditional folk songs, and storytelling traditions were all part of life in this region. Those traditions deeply shaped Dolly's songwriting. Before we continue, let's pause for a quick pronunciation moment. The region where Dolly grew up is called Appalachia, and the mountains are known as the Appalachian Mountains. This word can be surprisingly difficult to pronounce. Many Americans outside the region say Appalachian, like me. But in much of the southern Appalachian region, including where Dolly grew up, people actually say Appalachian. Both pronunciations exist in American English, but locals in the southern mountains strongly prefer the Latch version. Linguists note that pronunciation differences often reflect where someone learned the word and the speech patterns of their region. So when talking about Dolly Parton's cultural background, you'll often hear people say Appalachian culture or she grew up in Appalachia, using that latch sound, just like I'm doing. But when we talk about the mountains, we might say Appalachian Mountains. That's exactly what I do because I grew up outside this region. So I refer to the mountain range as the Appalachian Mountains. But when I'm talking about the region that Dolly grew up in, I'll say Appalachia because that's what those people say. Back to Dolly's story. After finishing high school, Dolly Parton moved to Nashville, the center of the country music industry. She quickly became known for something that set her apart: her songwriting. Many musicians became famous for performing songs written by other people. Dolly Parton became famous for writing her own. Some of her most well-known songs include Jolene, I Will Always Love You, and 9 to 5. And yes, I Will Always Love You later became a global hit when it was re-recorded by Whitney Houston for the movie The Bodyguard. But perhaps the most famous song of Dolly Parton's is Jolene. The song tells the story of a woman begging another woman not to take her partner. It's emotional, dramatic, and instantly recognizable. But what many people don't realize is that the song was inspired by two real people. The name Jolene came from a young fan Dolly met after a concert. The girl asked for an autograph, and Dolly thought the name sounded beautiful and musical. But the story behind the song came from something else entirely. Dolly has joked in interviews that early in her marriage, a bank teller seemed to be paying a little too much attention to her husband. She said the woman had red hair, green eyes, and seemed very interested in him. So Dolly turned that small moment of jealousy into a song. And that song became one of the most famous pieces of country music ever written. That ability to turn everyday moments into powerful stories is one of the reasons Dolly Parton has had such an extraordinary career. Now, Dolly Parton is also famous for her stage appearance. Her look includes dramatic hairstyles, glamorous clothing, and bold makeup. But one of the things people admire about Dolly is that she openly jokes about her image. She once said, "It takes a lot of work to look this cheap." Her humor and confidence helped her control her public image, rather than letting others define it for her. Dolly Parton's success didn't stop with music. She also became a successful businesswoman. One of her biggest projects is the theme park Dollywood. The park celebrates Appalachian culture, music, and crafts, and it brings millions of visitors to eastern Tennessee each year. When I was around 10 years old, I was there with my mother when we were on vacation. It was a lot of fun, and it's a childhood moment that has stuck with me for a long time. For Dolly, the park was also a way to invest in the region where she grew up. It's in a city called Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, and now that city has many different theme parks and has turned into a vacation destination for many families. One of the most admired parts of Dolly Parton's legacy is her philanthropy. She created a program called the Imagination Library, which provides free books to young children in many states of the U.S. Dolly has often said that growing up in a large family with limited resources helped shape how she thinks about education and opportunity. Today, millions of children receive books through the program each month in the U.S. and in several other countries. Her work supporting literacy and education has become just as important to her as her music. Dolly Parton is one of those rare public figures who is widely respected across generations and across political differences. Part of the reason is that she represents several things at once: a country music legend, a storyteller, a business leader, and a philanthropist. She also represents a cultural tradition, the music and storytelling heritage of Appalachia that has shaped American culture in many ways. Dolly Parton's story is about creativity, determination, and generosity, and about how someone can carry the culture of a small mountain community onto the world stage. From a childhood in rural Tennessee to global musical success, she built a career that spans music, business, and philanthropy. And during Women's History Month, stories like hers remind us how individual voices can shape culture, inspire others, and leave a lasting legacy. So now I'm curious, who are some women from your country whose stories deserve to be better known? Let's share. Thanks for listening to the Sharing English podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd love it if you'd subscribe, leave a rating or review, and share the podcast with a friend who's also learning English. You can find out more about me and the podcast at our website, www.sharing-english.com. New episodes of the Sharing English podcast are available weekly wherever you listen to podcasts. As always, let me know, what topics are you interested in hearing more about? Until next time, Keep listening, keep learning, and keep sharing English.